When I was 23 years old, I made over $20,000 with Uber Eats without ever doing a delivery. And I want to share with you this story because the process and the framework behind it will help you to make a lot of money if you manage to implement it in any areas of your life without doing any of the work. But everything started when I was 20 years old and I did an internship in New York. I was paid like nothing, $50 a week, something like that, but great experience. The thing is, I was doing marketing and sales analysis, and you won't understand why it's really important later on. During that internship, I had to do a lot of reportings on Excel and stuff like that. So what did I do? I'm French, so I'm lazy. Well, when there's a task like that, I thought, how can I automate it? I looked up online, find the macros on Excel, and then I'm not that much of a smart guy, so I cannot code a full macro. So I asked some people to help me online, and some really nice people just let me know. Yeah, they give me the code, and then I executed the code, and then it was doing all my reports. So now I'm here at this internship for 5-6 months, and most of my work is automated. So I still need to spend time on the computer, and I have not much to do. So I browse online a lot. And I find something that is so important that I will explain you later on, because that was the thing that led me to making my first dollars online and even make more money later on. Because fast forward later, I launched this website when I was 23 years old, Rousseau les bons tuyaux, which means Rousseau, my name, but the good tips. I know I've been always great at finding great names, which is just a website with a lot of pictures of myself. No, it changed a bit, it evolved a bit, and it became a real business without me thinking that it would become a real business. And at that time, when I was 23, I was living in Paris. Something was big in those years. Today, I'm 31 years old. So you can make the calculation of which year it was. It was massive for venture capitalists. Every startup was blowing everywhere. You had Airbnb, you had Uber, Uber Eats, Foodora, Foodpanda, all the food delivery services, all that. And me, I launched this website because I was a student, I was broke. I mean, didn't make much money because actually I was quite smart. I did a work and study program, which means I spent 2 days at school and 3 days at work. That's where I worked at Louis Vuitton as a project manager in IT. And finally, I grew a pair of balls after the company did some stuff that I didn't like. To me, that would be another story, another video, and launched my own website. I could have launched earlier, but I thought I didn't have the skills, or I thought my spelling would not be that good because I suck at writing in French. And I know what you're thinking. Antoine, you also suck at speaking English. I know, I understand. Doesn't matter. We're still doing it. Let's focus on the value here. So we have all this here, right? With tons of money flowing everywhere. And I'm like, why am I not having a piece of the cake? Because all those companies, what they were doing is giving a lot of promo codes. Their goal was to reach a critical mass, to own the market. And they thought, maybe in 5 years we make money. Doesn't matter. YOLO. Let's break the market. I see that. And I have my website that I started, this one. And I thought, how can I write that? Because for me, this is interesting. I love startups and I love testing them. So I started to review them. And to my surprise, people loved it. So I had my newsletters and then I was, okay, I'm going to try this service, that service. But all those apps, if you remember well, they had a referral code. So when you give your code to someone else, you get a little bit in reward. And I became the guy in my school pretty quick that had more than 5,000 euros of Uber credit. That's a lot of rights, but that's not where I make the real money. It came later on. Because I saw all those things, I was like, I need to work closer with them for two reasons. One reason is I was leaving France. I finished my studies. I had my business online that started to print a bit of money. I'm like, I'm not going to use all those promo code. And even I was the coolest guy at the party because if you've watched this, you remember that. We would all order on those apps and have massive discounts and things like that. But I thought I need to leverage this. So I wanted to get paid in real money instead of getting those promo codes. And this is what happened. I contacted few of those and only one was smart, Uber. Uber, they say, okay, instead of giving you 10 euros of credit, we're going to give you 3 euros per usage of the code. I was like, that's it, game on. So then my goal was to maximize how much I was going to make for each of those code usage. And I can show you a glimpse of like the kind of invoice I was sending every month to Uber. This one is a big one, 4,587 euros. How much work did I put in? 0. Most of them were around the 2,000 euros. Actually, if I search in my old files, you can see that I have a lot of invoice for them. So it was a good time. But of course, good times don't always last. Because if you remember at the beginning, I talked about my internship in New York. And then the skill that I developed there was SEO, search engine optimization, basically ranking first in Google. So if you type on Google, Uber Eats, and then promo code or review, at that time you would have found my article that actually you can see in 2017. It's crazy. That makes me old. But you would type that, you would find this. So that was a good source of income for me because I ranked fast on those. Nobody was using them. And then most big companies, they didn't have those deals because Uber at the time was thinking that I was an influencer. I guess they were thinking that. Maybe not. Maybe they were actually pretty smart and they knew what they were doing. Because what I did next is as I had all those other companies, right? Those food delivery companies, I'm ranking first most of the time for those blog posts. So I have now two choices. On an article where I don't get paid and one that's paying me. But all of them rank. So the one that were not paying me, I changed the article. If you type Deliveroo promo code or Deliveroo review, you land on my blog post. And then in this one, I will say, by the way, if you want also, you have a bigger discount with Uber or the same size of discount, but you should try it as well. So all those people that were supposed to be customers for these other brands, a part of them will be fueled and funneled to Uber Eats. And like this, I would make some money. That was one of the first leverage that I did that helped me grow. The second thing that I did, and why I'm explaining all this is because I think those skills that I will like try to layer down a bit more for you will help you to understand how you can make money like that. Is I had some contacts, some networks with some school and things like every student, right? So I would have some friends, they contacted their student group and then share my code. So instantly you have a distribution that is like to 1,000, 5,000 targeted customers. That was a good way. Another way that I used before I got paid and things like that, is that most of those apps, they did not understand how tricky we can be as French or as Europeans in general, I would say. But I could see that you could accumulate different promo codes in some of them. You could enter one, enter another one. Sometimes it was really easy to find one because there would be like summer 20. And if you typed summer 40, you would get 40 euros. Like stupid things like that. And I remember always I sent one broadcast to my email list. And for this one, like everyone in my school got like 50 or 70 euros credits. That was insane because everyone was getting delivery. Everyone was getting delivery like that. I still remember, like, I did the boss move, like the last day at school. It was me who ordered breakfast for everyone. I had all the croissant, all the stuff. Yeah, that's the French breakfast because I was not paying for it. So that was the cool thing. I was like living the high life in a small apartment, but I still had good stuff. So that was a funny moment. And I had a massive learning lesson because like I didn't spend much money, but the thing is, you will quickly realize you cannot save so much money. At some point, like you cannot spend less than €0 per month, but there is no limit of how much you can make. So if I was talking to my younger self, I would be like, hey mate, it's good. It's good that you have this solid base now, but you should think about how you can make more. And I was always passionate about finding those gaps. It's the same thing when I was like 15, 16, I did an internship in an electronics store. And I was a really good salesman because I love those things and explaining to people. For me, it's what I like to do. Anyhow, they gave me a task at some point, which was to block people from stealing the stuff they're selling. So I loved it because I was like, okay, I have to think like someone who would steal. What would they try to remove out of the box? What would they try to steal? And then I will put the things to block it. And I was passionate about it. Like it's stupid, but I even thought about like I would make a career into that. But then it changed later on. This skill helped me to understand how those things with the promo codes will work and how most of the people will not understand it. First thing. And that's what like helped me to that's what helped me to see this window for those promo code with Uber and stuff like that. But all good things come to an end. One day I received an email from Uber because I sent them my classic, hey, it's the end of the month, how many usage we got? And I get the reply that we got 0 usage of your promo code, Antoine. At that time, I'm in Thailand, having a good time, partying time to time, working a little bit. That's what I thought. I was like, what the is going on? I beeped myself. So I checked all the stats of the website. I went into the analytics, everything. I checked how many visitors we had, how many clicks we had on the promo code, everything, because I had those data. I wanted to track them. And I see that everything is fine. So they lied to me. I contacted them again. I said, that's not possible. I can see all the traffic, everything is fine. And I said, no, we still didn't have anything. I was fuming. So what I did is I went for a run. I don't know, I must have seen that in a movie. But after the run, I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I hate working with those. Like when they tell me I could do this, I cannot do that, and then I have to rely on them. I'm going to grow something bigger. And a few days later, she contacted me again and said, oh no, actually, we find some usage. Here it is. Like it was 1,000 or 2,000 usage. Please send the invoice. I was like, okay, let's do this. And that's what I did. And it continued for a bit. Because the skill that I learned when I was in New York while browsing the web, it was SEO and affiliate. As two skills that helped me a lot. I stumbled upon affiliate because I was looking to how to unlock Netflix in France. At that time, it was not possible. And I saw something strange at the end of a link one time on some weird website where the French was like, I could not really understand. I was like, what is going on? And then I searched. I was like, this is affiliate program. So those people get paid when someone click on those links and they get a commission. Interesting. And then I was like, but then if I create a website, why would I get traffic? And then I'm like, okay, I'm going to search everywhere. And then I understand SEO and how to rank it. It was really at that time early. I wish I started at that time because I would have made a lot more money, but that's fine. I still had fun. And I continue on. And maybe I would not have done my master degree, which I'm happy that I did in the end, even if I never used the diploma, because after working at Louis Vuitton, I never worked in a company again in my life. It's still early on to talk about this. But the thing is, I want to highlight here is that it's because of skills. When I saw the window, there was a window open and I jumped in it. I got it. And later on, I did the Nomad cruise. It was like we took a boat cruise from Panama to Las Palmas. This was like 7 years ago, when you could still do those things without everyone. When you, sorry. So I did a cruise from Panama to Las Palmas, which was still a time when you could do those things without having everyone on Facebook or whatever, like saying, oh, you shouldn't do that, you're polluting the planet. It was a great time. 2 weeks, no phone. We had an open bar, everything, unlimited on the boat, talking with other people that have online businesses. It was amazing. I even did a presentation that day on the boat, one of those days on the boat, like how to get partnership with top 500 companies. And I was laying down how I was doing it, because I did it a few times in a row and I had my processes. So when we arrived after those 2 weeks on the sea, I checked my emails and I see the email from Uber. You see what's coming. By the way, we are stopping the promotion. So that's it. You will not get paid anymore. I was like, that's good. That's what I wanted to have, because I already switched my attention to something else, which was crypto. And I was like, yeah, it's time to level up, Antoine, and then time to not only rely on them. So that was a good thing. Made some money, never did a delivery, had a good life. And because of that downside, that led me to even put more attention into crypto and to help me even increasing even more my incomes. That's why this new channel is really important to me. Because if something that I understood doing all those things that happen is that first you have to be able to understand when there is a window. And hopefully you build the skills that will help you to take advantages or profit from this window of opportunity, because it will close at some point, or the size of the window will reduce drastically. It was the same when I saw the VC, and now what I saw was crypto back then in 2017. And I even learned about crypto during my internship in New York, but I didn't have any money, and then I had to heard about it again and understand more. So what I'm doing here is in 2020, 2021, during that bull market, I understood that on crypto, you could do on-chain analysis. This is something you cannot find in any other investment. On-chain analysis is basically looking at all the transactions that happen on a blockchain, because it's like a database. So I can know who made money, who lost money, what are they buying now, what are they selling. Yeah, the transactions are open. Everyone can read them. You can't have that in stock market. I don't know when Warren Buffett is buying or selling, unless you do a big buy or big sell, then you have to do a paper, but it's already happening. Me, I want to know before it's public. So that's why I will analyze all the influencers and check their addresses, so I know when they're buying or when they're selling before they share it on their YouTube channel or Twitter, all that. But for another example would be Nancy Pelosi, the big ones, the heavies, as they say. Well, she do insider trading. We kind of know that. I'm not going to accuse you, Nancy, if you watch this video. I know you would like a beautiful, handsome man like me. We can have a coffee one day, I promise. And you pay for it. But there's some rumors that say insider trading. I can't know when she's buying or selling. But on the blockchain, on crypto, I can. So the thing is, I studied that in 2021, but it was pretty early. There was not much we could do around. However, today, the tools got better. And how people trade and how people invest really opened that window. And I used that window and I did multiple 10x that I showed on this channel. Some 2x, some 5x as well. Like it all compound. Don't think like all my money did 10x. It's not possible. It's like you will have a small sum that you manage to grow and then you lose on a bit of the others. I'm not going to sell you a dream that doesn't exist. But so far it's been really profitable. And that's why I'm going full into that. Because I think that's where the opportunity is. I've been building some stuff that so far I haven't seen anyone using. But it's based on all those skills that are unlocked because I can put myself, and for me it seems easy, for other people it seems complicated, but you should always go to like the thing that are complicated for others but easy for you. For me to find like, okay, how can I find who made a lot of money here? Copy them and I don't need to work. Or find this opportunity, find the people who have the insiders. This is what I do here. I think this is probably the biggest opportunity for investment. Now, no one knows how to do that. Most of the people don't. Wall Street will not know how to do it yet. We have an unfair advantage now. I think it's going to last a year, 2 years to have really a big, good opportunity window. And then it will probably reduce, but the people who build strong skills will have it. So this is almost a new industry on the new industry. Anyway, that's what I am in. I hope this video will help you to understand how you can unlock your brain to find the gap in the market and really take profit from it, whatever it is. If you find some, you can share it in the comments. But if you want to understand how I do it in crypto and things like that, definitely watch this video because I lay down all my process. You can basically copy and I will speed your knowledge to another level. It was a pleasure. I didn't tell you, but normally we pour down a little matcha if you've been used to watch this channel. And don't forget one thing, stay handsome. Ciao.